Parliament. Parliament, as we all know, is a legislative body which makes laws. Hence, Parliament is also known as the Union Legislature, which make laws. Its work is to make laws. It has 3 constituents. Okay, what are the 3 constituents? Let us see. The first one is President. Second is Lower House, and the third one is Upper House. So these 3 constituents consist of the Parliament. Now the Lower House is also known as House of People or Lok Sabha. Okay, so the Lower House is also known as the House of the People and Lok Sabha. Similarly, Upper House is also known as Council of States or Rajya Sabha. Council of States or Rajya Sabha. The names Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are given in 1954. They are adopted in the year 1954. Before that, it was known as either Lower House or House of the People and Upper House or Council of States. Now coming to the President. Our present President is Shri Ram Nath Kovind ji. So the President is a very integral part of the Parliament. Hence, when laws are made, all these 3 are included in it. Okay. So the bills are introduced in either Lower House or the Upper House, and the assent of President is required for passing of the bill so that it can become an act or a law. Now let us see some facts about the President. First of all, Articles 52 to 78 under Part 5 of the Constitutions cover the topic President. Now, the President is elected by Parliament, that is both the House of the Parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the state legislative assemblies. All the state legislative assemblies in India participate in election of the President, along with Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. In order to be elected, a President need to have some qualifications. Now, what are the qualifications? Number 1, he should be citizen of India. Definitely the one who is not citizen of India, he cannot become a President of India. Okay. Secondly, age. Age should be more than 35 years. Thirdly, he should be eligible to be elected in Lok Sabha. And lastly, any other qualifications. So these 4 qualifications basically are required for a president to get elected in the office. Now coming to the Lower House. The members of the Lower House or the Lok Sabha are elected directly by people of India through direct elections. Now its term is maximum 5 years. Term of Lok Sabha can be maximum 5 years. In case of emergency, it can be increased to 1 year. If there is a national emergency in India, the term of Lok Sabha can be increased to 1 year. But if the emergency ceases to exist, that is, it is scrapped down, then the term of the Lok Sabha cannot be increased beyond that period. But 1 year at a time, it can be increased in case of emergency. After term, qualifications. What should be the qualifications to become member of Lok Sabha? Firstly, definitely citizen of India. The person should be a citizen of India. Secondly, age limit. Now for Lok Sabha, the age is 25 years. Minimum 25 years of age is required. And thirdly, any other qualification. So these 3 qualifications basically is required to become a member of Lok Sabha. Now coming to Rajya Sabha, its term is permanent. Unlike Lok Sabha, the term of Rajya Sabha is permanent because Rajya Sabha cannot be dissolved like Lok Sabha. So Rajya Sabha is permanent, but every member of the Rajya Sabha retires every second year. Every second year, members of Rajya Sabha retire. So, 1/3 of its members. So, a term of the member of Rajya Sabha is 6 years. So, we can say that the Rajya Sabha is a permanent house, but the term of its member is 6 years. This is all about the basic structure of our parliament. Now, we'll see some details about it. So we're talking about legislative procedures. The parliament is a legislative body which make laws. Now how laws are made? Laws are not directly enacted in the parliament or by the president. Laws are first introduced in the parliament either in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha as mentioned in the constitution as a bill. A proposed law is introduced in the parliament as a bill first. So say a bill is introduced in Lok Sabha. Some proposals are made. This is the first step in the introduction of a law in parliament. After the bill is introduced in lower house, it is passed in this house and then sent to the second house, that is Rajya Sabha. And after it passes in Rajya Sabha, it is sent to the president for his assent. And once this bill gets the assent of the president, this bill becomes an act, that is a law. Now let us see what are the types of bills. There are basically 4 types of bills. Ordinary bills, money bills, financial bills, and constitution amendment bills. So there are 4 types of bills: ordinary bills, money bills, financial bills, and constitution amendment bills. Further, financial bills are bifurcated into part 1 and part 2. Now let us see how all these kind of bills are passed in the parliament. First we will take ordinary bills. Now the ordinary bill can be introduced either in Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. There is no restriction that it should be introduced only in Lok Sabha or only in Rajya Sabha. No, it can be introduced either in Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. Then there are 3 readings. First reading, second reading, and third reading. In first reading, the bill will be introduced and published in the Gazette of India. This consists of the first reading, introduction of the bill and publishing the Gazette. Then the second reading consists of clause by clause discussion of the bill. That is, the members will discuss the bill clause by clause in detail and scrutinize it. And in the third reading, only it will be decided that whether the bill should pass or not. No further discussion will take place in the third reading. The third reading will consist of only passing or not the bill. Then the same procedure is followed when the bill is passed on to Rajya Sabha. When it passed to Rajya Sabha, the same 3 readings take place. That is, introduction of the bill, discussion of the bill, and lastly whether to pass it or not. When the bill is passed by the Rajya Sabha also, it is sent to the President. Now, what the President can do with that bill? The President can give his assent, he can withhold his assent, or he can return the bill. President can do these three things. He can give his assent to the bill, he can withhold his assent to the bill, and he can return the bill to the originating house for its reconsideration if something needs to be changed in that bill. So once the bill is returned to that originating house, it will consider the recommendation given by the President, and then when the house again passes the bill and sent to the other house also passes the bill and sent to the President, then this second time the President has to give his assent to the bill. The President cannot return the bill again. The second time it comes to the President, he have to give his assent, or simply he can withhold his assent, but he cannot return the bill to the house again. Now the next type of bill, money bill. Second type of bill is money bill. Now, money bill cannot be introduced in either house. It can be introduced only in lower house, that is Lok Sabha, and that too with prior recommendation of the President. Only with the recommendation of President, the bill can be introduced in Lok Sabha. Money bill. Okay, now once the money bill is introduced in the Lok Sabha, again the three readings: first reading, second reading, third reading, and then it passes the bill and sent to Rajya Sabha for its consideration. Now the powers of Rajya Sabha in case of money bill is very limited. They can only recommend their suggestions to Lok Sabha, and it is up to the Lok Sabha whether to accept those recommendations or not. When the money bill goes to Rajya Sabha, they will consider it, and when the bill is passed by them, they will send it to the President. Now, when this bill comes to the President can give his assent or withhold, but it cannot return the bill because the bill has been introduced in Lok Sabha by his recommendation only. So he cannot return the bill to the Lok Sabha again. Okay. Now what happens if Rajya Sabha rejects the bill? The question arises. No, if the Rajya Sabha rejects the bill or do not return the bill within 14 days, the bill is deemed to be passed by both the houses and it is sent to the President for his consideration. And when the President gives his assent to the money bill, it becomes an act. Now the third type of bill is the financial bill. Financial bill, first and second. Now, financial bill are those which are mentioned in the Constitution under Article 170, and money bills are those which specifically deal with matters under Article 110. So this is the difference between financial bill and money bill. All money bills are financial bills, but all financial bills are not money bills. Now coming to financial bills, this category of financial bills can only be introduced in the Lok Sabha, just like money bill. It cannot be introduced in the Rajya Sabha. Only this thing is there in case of financial bill. Other procedures like passing of the bill in both the houses, same as ordinary bills. Like if the financial bill part 1 is sent to Rajya Sabha for its consideration, it has equal powers to either accept or reject the bill, like in the case of ordinary bills. But in the case of second financial bill, it can be introduced in either house, either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. Financial bill part 1 can be introduced only in Lok Sabha, but it has to be passed by both the houses together. But in the case of financial bill part 2, it can be introduced in either house of parliament, and both the houses have equal powers in relation to this part 2 financial bills. So ultimately it is like an ordinary bill only. Now, the fourth kind of bill. Constitutional Amendment Bill. Now, again, the Constitutional Amendment Bill can be introduced any house of the Parliament, depending on the matters, what matters are included in it. Then one house it is sent to the other house for its consideration. And when both the house passes the Constitution Amendment Bill, it is sent to the President. Now, what the President can do in case of Constitution Amendment Bill? He can give his assent. He has to give his assent in case of Constitution Amendment Bill. He cannot return or withhold his assent in this case. I think by 25th Constitution Amendment Bill, this change has been introduced wherein the President has to give his assent in case of Constitution Amendment Bill. And the state legislature may or may not be consulted in case of this kind of bill. If the matter of the bill is to include some important cases or important matters of states, then they might be considered. But if there is no case related to them, then it is passed by both the houses of Parliament only. Now, in case of ordinary bills or financial bills, if there is a dispute between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, that is, they cannot come to a conclusion, no agreement, then the President will call for a joint sitting of both the houses, and the majority in the joint sitting will decide the bill, that whether the bill will pass or not. In case of money bill, there is no provision of joint sitting because the Lok Sabha has its whole and sole powers in its hand in case of money bill. So the money bill is deemed to have been passed if it is passed by Lok Sabha and given assent by the President. So Rajya Sabha have very little role to play in case of money bills. And financial bills, as I said, there is a provision of joint sitting once there is a disagreement between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. But in case of Constitution Amendment Bill also, there is no provision for joint sitting again. So this is all about the legislative procedure of Parliament. Now let us discuss about the presiding officers of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The presiding officer of Lok Sabha is the Speaker, and that of the Rajya Sabha is a chairman. So the present Speaker of the present Lok Sabha is Sumitra Mahajan. She is the Speaker right now at present in Lok Sabha. She is the second lady Speaker in Indian history since independence. Before her, the first lady was Meera Kumar, who has become the Speaker of Lok Sabha. She was the first lady and she is the second one. Now, the Speaker is elected from the members of Lok Sabha by themselves. Now, when freshly elected Lok Sabha comes into existence, comes to the House for a session, the President appoints a Speaker pro tem. That is a temporary Speaker till a new Speaker is elected by the House. When the new Speaker is elected by the House, the Speaker pro tem ceases to exist. So till the time the new Speaker is elected, Speaker pro tem takes on the proceedings of the Lok Sabha as a Speaker. Same way, in Rajya Sabha, the Chairman handles the office of President, Vice President, and as well as Chairman. So Chairman is also known as the ex-officio Chairman of Rajya Sabha, who is also the Vice President of India. Now, here after Speaker, we have the Deputy Speaker. In case of absence of Speaker, the Deputy Speaker takes up the proceedings in the name of Speaker. He holds the office of Speaker in his absence. Same way, in Rajya Sabha, we have a Deputy Chairman. of the chairman of Rajya Sabha, the deputy chairman takes the office of chairman and presides over the house. Now, what happens if both speaker and deputy speaker are absent? There is a panel of chairpersons appointed for both the houses. Now, if speaker and deputy speaker both are absent, then anyone from this panel of speaker will preside over Lok Sabha. And if the members of panel of chairpersons are also not there, the president will appoint anyone from the house to preside over the house. Now, in this case, the panel of speakers or chairpersons, as I said, they can preside over the house only in case when the speaker or deputy speaker are absent, not in the case of vacancy of the seat. If the seat of speaker is vacant, then the president will decide. The president will appoint a person from the house to preside over the office. But if the speaker or the deputy speaker is temporarily absent, then the panel of chairpersons, anyone from among them, can preside over the house. Same is the case with Rajya Sabha. In case of absence of both chairman and deputy chairman, anyone from the panel of chairperson can preside over the house. Or in the case of vacancy of the seat, the election needs to take place. Till that time, president will appoint a person to preside over the house, and when the election takes place, again the chairman of the house is back to the office. Since 11th Lok Sabha, a practice is being followed that the speaker is from the ruling party and the deputy speaker is from the opposition party. Before the 11th Lok Sabha, the speaker and deputy speaker could have been from the same party, but after 11th Lok Sabha, there has been change introduced and the speaker can be from the ruling party, but the deputy speaker is to be from opposition party only, that both cannot be from the same party. This applies to Lok Sabha only and not Rajya Sabha. So current deputy speaker, I think, is from AIDMK or something.